Well, I'm going to give you a few reasons why the economies of the world are going to collapse without being a drama freak about it or about hoping for collapse, or which I hope there is going to be no collapse, but I see the reality. This is actually coming from Pastor Dudu's church of This Is Where It's At. So you can see the pinnacle going up to the powers that be, the Illuminati, the elite, as he gets the real sermon from the Mount. So that's how it goes with Pastor Dudu. But let me put it to you this way. It's all common sense. Even the elite and all the financial managers are saying this right now. It's the end of a super cycle. It's the end of a great debt cycle. That's what's going on. You know, we got what's holding up our economy. It's debt, right? Not just vodka. Vodka never disappoints. Actually, that's what's holding up the Russian economy. Yeah, those are some serious drinkers over there, man. They actually beat the USA by twice. Anyway, so corporate debt was $3.5 trillion in 2007, which was very high. It was a bubble, right? That was when that was like right before. That was when we started to have the real estate crash. I guess it was in early 2007. Actually, not I guess. It was in early 2007. That's when the real estate market started to crash. Then we saw the oil crash after a run-up in 2008, which actually started to crash in July. It peaked out in July. It started to crash in July 2008. Then we saw the ultimate market crash. Commodities first crashed. First it was real estate, then commodities, then the general equities crashed, bottomed out in early 2009, and we saw massive stimulus. But now talking not just about government debt, but corporate debt, right? The vodka that never disappoints. It's $7 trillion. It's double what it was back in 2007. So, you know, beware of the words that are actually coming out of even some of these people like Jim Rogers and stuff. He's right. The guy's right, man. It's not going to continue. It's just that it continues longer than you think. You know, even the housing market was going up. It seemed crazy how long it was going to go up. How long was... Oh, even like when silver was going up, everybody thought it was going over 30. Says, wow, it can go... Now it's over 40. Oh, it's going to bust 50, and then it crashed. Oh, well, what happened with the tech boom back in 2000, you know? How high is high? How long could it go? That's really what happens. But when it happens, you got this major headache, and you're grasping your head, and you're like saying... Ew, you know, you're coming down from the scene. Actually, you know, to give you another tidbit, China is actually on the ropes right now. They're the worst they've been doing now in 25 years. They have the shadow banking system, which is actually falling apart, which funded their real estate boom. You saw those, you know, the city that looked like Paris, you know, the Disneyland, and that they recreated in China. It's all ghost towns. All that money went to waste. It was even worse than what Putin did with Sochi, you know. So anyway, government debt has also been growing to multiples of GDP around the world, and you know, that ain't going to keep going forever, right? So what's going to happen is the grannies are going to start getting out their AK-47s, because I'm going to tell you one thing. What we're going to see later on is that the governments may not be able to pay everything they need to be paying. They're not going to be able to give cost of living raises, and they're not going to be able to you know, do what they need to do. In other words, as far as like what they've been promising to do all along, because actually even Social Security's broke, because the governments are broke, because the government debt has been growing and growing and growing. And you've been hearing this crap forever, so I don't want to make this too long, but you know what? Just to remind you what happens. So what happens when you finally go off the juice? What happens when you finally go off the juice? Well, you sit there like a freaking lump of doo-doo, you know what I mean? What happens when you go off the juice is like, in other words, people are going to feel the down. And in other words, you can't lower the interest rates anymore to below. You're going to, actually, you know, he talked about the EU was talking about negative interest rates. You know, if they charge you money to keep money in the bank in some situations, but they're basically out of bullets. Now, I'm going to tell you this though. You know, I put a video out. I'm going to put the link on that one video down on the bottom in the information box and actually in the comments. You know, the stimulation of putting money into the economy actually does work like crazy. But if you give it to people that don't work, or the too bigs to fail that don't work, it doesn't do anything. If you give it to hard-working entrepreneurs that are like skilled craftspeople that freaking are just go-getters, the whole economy just stimulates like crazy. And they proved this back in Austria, the country of Austria, I'm not alluding to the Austrian School of Economics. I'm not saying it's something else. What they did in Austria was they actually stimulated the economy by putting the money into the middle class by funding projects for the local government. It was local currencies, which actually caused a... They didn't have to put that much money in an economy, which, in other words, it caused like a rampant increase in the velocity of money. See, right now we have a lot of money that's being printed and it's being put in the economy, but you know what's happening? It's not actually going around the economy. So it's what's going on. It's being held by the too bigs to fail. But we know what we're going to have in the future. We're going to have the new A team, and here they got them all blocked out so you can't see what the hell they are. But the new A team is going to whack those freaking too bigs to fail. That's what's probably what's going to happen in the long run, because the too bigs to fail are going to fail. And actually, you know, it's actually kind of ripe for revolution. Who the hell knows what's going on here? But you know, actually, the revolution ought to be a revolution of work, though. That's what it is. Because the middle class, if you look back at the turn of the century, not the turn of the century, even like when America was formed, man, everything was cottage industry. It was like one or two people in a house that actually made stuff go, you know, and everybody was into agriculture. Right now, the interest rates are basically zero or negative. Debt levels have reached the maximum capability, and asset prices are already too much inflated. Central banks got no way to go. And, you know, this is probably the whole damn plan from day one. But, you know, I guess you really can't count on the new A team, though. But, you know, that's a pipe dream. But, you know, you never know, because I think there's going to be some vigilantes out there. But that's probably not the solution. The solution is hardcore work, you know. Now, the A team probably is going to be the grannies out there, because they're going to be pissed off about getting screwed on their damn, you know, Social Security. And watch out for them grannies, I'll tell you that right now. But the thing is, the situation is, in reality, this has got to be not a matter of stupidity. This has got to be a matter of they're planning it this way. And, you know, the reset's not going to be a walk in the park. I just hate to say that, but, you know, that's what it is, you know. And vodka's not your answer, although in Russia they say vodka never disappoints. But let me put it to you this way, that the situation is that even though these doom and gloomers are pointing out all this stuff about the bad news, and they're basically right. They're basically right. But the solution actually is hard work. The central banks have largely lost all their power to ease. They can't ease anymore. They're done. They're done. And actually, the only thing after that is to devalue the dollar. But we're looking at the dollar right now. It's actually very strong. It's been on a tear for a number of years now, unexpectedly by some people. But that's probably the next step, to devalue the dollar. But what they're really doing is the elite are not going to fail. But, you know, I'm going to keep telling you this again and again. Really where it's at is not a magic pipe dream. It actually is at entrepreneurial level, the cottage industry. The cottage industry that just keeps striving and forging ahead, because the elite are too damn lazy to freaking get off their ass, off their desk, out of their ties and their suits and their air-conditioned office to do any real work. Of course, they call it real work, but, you know, in reality it's work that's all there and guaranteed because of all government regulation. And actually what's killed the economy, to tell you really where it's at, what really killed the economy, it is excessive government regulation. Excessive government regulation, if it was backed off, we'd have a new awakening, a new laissez-faire economy in the middle class, and things would survive, and all industries would come back to the United States, because they come back to the United States in the form of cottage industry first, and then group together into the smaller businesses, and from there they would grow into medium-sized businesses, and things would be back the way they were. But they regulate those things out of existence. That's actually the problem. So, you know, if you're actually going to be going beneath the radar on some things, what you got to do is do cottage industry, because that is really where it's at. It's not knowing what the elite tell you, because the elite are full of crap. The elite don't know what the hell is going on. The elite just got an inside game. And, you know, if you're Pastor Doo-Doo telling you like what the elite does, you're full of it too. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I just want to make this video brief. We already know that it's the end of a super cycle. It's the end of a debt cycle. It's the end of corporate debt. Corporate debt has actually over doubled since 2007, when we had the beginning of the last crash. The government debt has been growing by multiples of GDP around the world. You can't keep going like that forever and ever. And what happens when you come off the juice? What happens when you come off the juice? The vodka never disappoints you. When you come off the juice, you got a major, major, major headache. But, the thing is, you don't want to be on the juice. That's the thing. You don't want to be on the juice in the first place. So just to give you a quick review of what's going on overall in succinct manner. And also, you could say the unemployment rate in the United States is pretty damn high, but a lot of that is due to because people just don't actually want to work. Also part of it is regulation. Because, there's actually, I know, so there was a story in New Jersey where these two kids try to go around just, door to door to try to make some money shoveling snow at a real reasonable rate. And somebody called the cops on them because, they weren't allowed to do that in the state of New Jersey. But if you're not in New Jersey and if you're a state that doesn't have too many crazy laws, you really could be an entrepreneur and make some money and doing whatever. Right now it's shoveling snow, maybe in the springtime it'll be trimming trees and mowing the lawns or something like that. There's always work out there. There always is work out there, but a lot of people just don't seek it. So, you're not going to find it in the major, big, super big corporations for the most part because they're shipping the jobs overseas. But entrepreneurship is always alive and well no matter what country or what state you're in, except for some states with a lot too much regulation. But let me just put it to you this way. The juice is ending, and, the doom and gloomers are basically right. But it doesn't have to be doom and gloom because I also want to reemphasize that I'm going to put that video again about the local currencies. That solved the economy. You don't have to do the Federal Reserve, the local currencies. I'm going to put that video again down in the information box and down in the comments. You want to take a look at it. It actually worked like crazy. And the thing is, the stimulation does work as long as it goes in the hands of the people that are major stimulators and major workers, not the too bigs to fail or the people that sit on their ass. The people that sit on their ass like that, it ain't going to work. You know what I mean? So no matter how much money you give them, it don't matter. It don't matter. So that's a common sense point, and just want to reiterate what's been going on real quickly here. So keep the faith and keep working hard.